Yo, what's going on, guys? We're going to be playing some Big Daddy Carry Rammus. We're going to be building lots of on-hit damage because it makes sense. Rammus passive already gives you on-hit damage on your autos, and it scales based off of your armor, but it is already a decent amount. With that being said, Sunfire gives on-hit damage from the Flame Touch, and so does Bork. I plan on rushing Bork first item because it's way better for ganks. It gives you a higher damage output. Rammus already has solid AoE clears with his W and his Q, to where you're not really missing out by building a non-AoE item like Tiamat or a Balmy Cinder. Make sure you let your teammates know that you don't need a leash. It's best to go leashless on Rammus so they don't know where you start. You can easily solo start Wolves or Raps leashless with W. With that being said, getting leash from Aatrox would be a whole lot of fun. For our runes, we have Lethal Tempo to assist us in the on-hit hyper carry action with Triumph, Tenacity, Coup de Grace, Celerity, Water Walking, Attack Speed, and Double Resistance. Our team's pretty much full AP other than the Xayah, so we went double Magic Resist. Rammus is more of an armor tank, but at the end of the day, a tank is a tank, and you want to take the right resistances based on the job at hand. With that being said, we will be taking more damage from monsters and turrets. The only exception being Gromp, of course, because Gromp is a special snowflake that does magic damage. Up against a Warwick, not a great matchup for Rammus, but it's certainly playable. He can't knock us out of our W since our W isn't a channel, so it's not going to be easy for him to shred us down, especially if we have teammates there. You're already starting to see how much more damage we're taking off the double magic resist. I think it will be worth it. You may be saying, well, they have 280, they have a Warwick. Warwick does mostly magic damage. His Q and his passive and his R. So just one of those things. You generally want to save Smite for the Big Krug. Big Krug does more damage than Red Buff. You can go for the Resolve Tree in the secondary. Aftershock does help a lot with dives in the early game, but overall Lethal Tempo will give us more carry potential. You can go for Flash or Ignite or Ghost. Ghost has better scaling, and the resets on it are incredibly useful, especially with this style of hyper carry build. This is a very high risk, high reward style build that Lethal Tempo and Ghost will synergize quite well with. We'll go ahead and reset from this position and look for, I'd say Boots, honestly. Boots is going to help with the ganks and just getting around the map in general. We'll go bot lane. Like I said, I do plan on rushing down a Bork first item since it gives more damage than a Sunfire would, and it also gives a really nice slow for staying on top of them. After the Bork, we will go for the Sunfire. You can definitely rush Sunfire first and still get great results, and it will probably be safer since he'll be tankier. Go ahead and taunt it. Warwick just died topside. That's perfect for us. Q lasts for 6 seconds, so you wouldn't really want to start it too soon while your E's on cooldown. Auto attack into the E. Always try to auto first because your E has more range than your autos, so you can get off even more damage that way. We have Lethal Tempo, so we're digging into her quite hard there. Our E was still on cooldown, so we weren't able to secure. It is what it is. Go ahead and leave my control word here and try to double dip back on that. Top lane just died. It's really disappointing. Akali does not have Ignite. This might actually be kind of hard to do. Yeah, Akali had absolutely zero intention of following up. She was running away as I was going in and just didn't follow it. That's fine. We'll go ahead and clear down towards our bot side. Unless Malphite stays. If he stays, I'll go top. I don't think Aatrox would even need me. I'm absolutely not going mid unless I can solo Heimerdinger. Once it's clear, you have a clear picture of your laner's skill and competency. You want to use that to your advantage. So for example, we know this Akali is absolutely not reliable, to where we wouldn't want to go back mid unless we could absolutely kill Heimerdinger by ourselves safely, which isn't going to be the case unless he's super low on HP. Gonna go ahead and max our Q first. You kind of have to get that cooldown. Plus, it helps you out with your AoE clears. An extra 30 damage per level on an AoE ability is quite solid. Most damage abilities only go up by 20 to 40 per level, so to get 30 on an AoE ability, I mean, we'll take it. You can take Blue Gromp same time. I wouldn't recommend doing this in your first clear. And even now, doing it here, we're taking a lot of damage. Auto attack Q reset. Gonna turn on our W, extend our E duration. It gives you extra attack speed through the full duration of your W. And the bare minimum of the E duration itself, which starts out at 2.2. Looks like Karma Shield's on a cooldown. We'll look for this. We are on a ward. Got her with the taunt. Since we're in W, she shouldn't be able to kill us. Yes. Oh my god, I was going to be so bummed if we didn't get the kill there. Gonna auto attack into the E. And Warwick did get the kill, but I think my teammate should be able to secure. I'm actually fine with that outcome. Yeah, that's actually really, really good. I'll go ahead and go for the recurve bow. One cool thing, this is gonna sound lame, but one cool thing about going for the Bork Rush is you'll be squishier, so as they hit you, they'll be enticed to stay. Even though our W is still giving us 96 armor and 30 magic resist, so they kind of get baited into trying to focus you down more. But if you're a full HP tank or a half HP tank, people kind of realize more, oh, we can't kill it. So in that case, I think if we had built tanky, they wouldn't have fallen for that. And yeah, ultimately, no one wants to try to focus down a tank, but when you don't have much HP, even though our W's making us tanky, they think they can get the kill, even though they probably can't. And if they do get it, they're putting themselves in a bad spot. Aatrox is doing quite well for himself. Heimer's level 7. Holy crap, mid lane's a balanced roll. We're gonna hit level 6 around 7:30, 8-minute mark. Pretty normal for a jungle. If you're doing quite well in soaking minion waves, at least 2, you should be hitting it before 7:30. We haven't really soaked any waves though. You usually do that after successful ganks, which we're gonna try. Well, not mid lane though. Half HP Akali, full HP Heimerdinger. That seems like a bad idea. We'll be going bot with our Ghost. We'll also be level 6. Rammus isn't much of a full clear style jungler. Once you're level 3 is when you really start to gank. Of course, you don't want to gank something if you feel like it's not going to be a kill, but full clearing on him is a bit of a mistake. You might as well be playing Zac at that point for the better scaling. We'll go ahead and Q and Ghost here. Got her with the taunt. Down she goes. Look at that attack speed. It's starting to feel really nice. If your team has good CC, the lethal tempo feels so good because it stacks up to 75% attack speed. I think that's what it goes up to. 12% 6 times. So yeah, around 75. I guess 72. Pretty high. Got him with the Q into the taunt. We're in our W, so he can't really burst us, so he just goes ahead and R's away. Your R on Rammus is an extra gap close tool. You don't want to use it early, because your Q, it's like a Yumi Q. You can't miss it as long as you're behind them. Even if they flash, you can run them down. But if you're in your Q, then you are. If you think their flash is up, that's the wrong move, because they'll just flash it, and then your Q and R will both be down, and you'll have no way to finish getting to them. For those of you wondering, why didn't I R there? That seems weird to not use it. Rammus is one of those champions where sometimes holding on to your R is actually better. Got her with the taunt. And the blue smite to hold her still. We're absolutely laying into her with our lethal tempo. Your R itself doesn't do that much damage either. It really is just a gap close tool. It's also very useful for going over walls, and enemies can't cancel it. So if you're about to get hard CC'd by something like a Morgana Snare or a Fiddle Fear, you can pop R and still travel that set distance doing damage and slow on impact. And if you're in your Q, it is a knock-up. It's not a very good one though. I do wish they would reverse the Rammus Q. I believe it was much better. I mean, the Rammus R. His old R was much stronger. The slow was consistent. The damage was high. There's a lot less counterplay. With his current R, there's so many ways for the enemies to outplay you. You're kind of punished for using it, sadly enough. Oh, Malphite popped the wall there. We'll get our slow on him. And down goes Akali. Didn't quite live on that one. Looks like Warwick might be thinking about invading us here. We're going to keep playing around our bot side. The Seraphine has great AoE CC to hold him still. The only downside to on-hit Rammus is while you're inside your W, you are moving quite a bit slower. But you could always cancel your W, especially if you're going to win the fight from there anyways. It does increase your spiked shell damage though, so in a perfect world you do get to stay inside of it for optimal damage. We'll go ahead and max W last. They've made W to where you just don't want to. It gets very little per level to where you have to really go for the E. Attack speed goes up plus the duration goes up of the taunt. Guess nobody's coming. Alright, we'll solo him, I guess. Try to make him tank the blue. Got the blue. I also have lethal tempo and he doesn't, so he legit can't solo us. He has press the attack, which is solid for ganking, but in terms of solo to the death full HP, lethal tempo is way better for that. Beautiful Seraphine art. And we live. Awesome. We got the Karma Flash. Need to chug these potions. This board's been up for 10 years. I really wish they would just break it. You can play Rammus AP, but not gonna lie, AP Rammus is trash. If you're playing that, you're only doing it for fun. I unironically think attack speed, kind of on hit Rammus, has better carry potential. Not to say it doesn't have its downsides, like I've already said. I think it's a lot riskier. If you don't know how to position, or if they have good abilities to get you off, like if they have a Janna R, you're gonna be useless. They're gonna just pop you out. I have to leave. I can't gank this lane. It's not gankable for us. Heimer's so good against melees. We're both melees, and he's way out playing Akali. He has nearly 5 times her CS, so that's my mistake. I shouldn't have done that. That just hurt Akali instead of helped her. We gotta just let her be, let her tread water while we try to save the other lanes. Not save, but empower them. When you're ganking, are you empowering a lane or trying to save it? If you're trying to save it, it's probably a bad gank. If you're empowering it, it's a good gank. It's already... If you're trying to have to save it, it's probably a lost cause. Generally, but not always. Got that juicy Bork. It's going to synergize real nice. Giving us extra movement speed off the third auto, helping us stay on top of them. Ooh, look at that. Oh, baby. It's already done an extra 87 damage. We'll take it. Flame Touch has been nerfed a little bit. It's not quite as good as it used to be. If you've noticed any of my recent videos on champions, I would generally take Sunfire Aegis on. It's not that it's not worth taking on many champions. It's just that the other options that were already present are on par or slightly better in some cases. Now, with that being said, Sunfire Aegis is still Rammus's go-to mythic, of course, but the Bork is just such a good item. It slows them, it speeds you up. It also does percent-based damage. Very, very solid item. I mean, plus some life still, so you'll stay healthy. If you're someone who struggles to farm healthy, that could be an important feature for you. You just do need to keep in mind you're squishier. So the early game playstyle plays more similar to something like a Kha'Zix almost, or a Xin Zhao rather than a Rammus. So you stay away more from early game dives, but in terms of raw damage output, you can play more into that. Maybe chase something a little bit harder, knowing you have the damage to finish the kill. For our boots against their team, it's a Merc Treads game, 100%. Their team's very AP heavy, and even their AD carry has a snare in their kit. Karma has the snare and a slow. Heimer has a stun and a slow. Warwick has a fear. His R is a suppression, so that doesn't count with tenacity. Malphite has a slow, so they have lots of things. Ideally, they wouldn't have a displacement and a suppression on their team. That way our tenacity would get max value, but we can't really control that. Ooh, who's this? Hey, friend. He's losing so much health so fast. He got freaking shredded. We're gonna have to R to close distance on this one. I couldn't stay in. I was taking too much damage from turret. Seraphine, a little bit of a late R. We're gonna go ahead and pull back, get our health back. I don't want to die to a Warwick. Your R also, in a way, extends your Q duration. If your Q is about to end and you pop R, you're basically extending your maximum distance traveled in that period of time. Because the faster you're moving, the more distance your R has. So if you are super early into your Q, not only will your R not go as far, but you're also putting your Q on cooldown without really tapping into its full distance traveled. I am very disappointed with Rammus's reworked R. It's been reworked for probably around a year, year and a half. It's not what it used to be, man. It's really not. A bit of a bummer. I don't want to steal it. Ooh, yeah, I don't want to steal that. I was just trying to heal off of it. He's hitting hard. 2 full item. My goodness. Dragon is up. We can't really push for that right now. Teammates in base. Heimer is pretty strong. Even though he doesn't have kills, the CS difference between him and Akali is massive. Warwick seems to be backing. Heimer could still solo it. Okay, we have vision. That's good. We don't want them to get dragons. I'm going to go take this wave mid. Akali should be pushing that while Heimer's backing. This is a lot of golden XP. Don't mind if I do. At this point, we would go for a Sunfire into Wit's End. If they're very AD heavy, you wouldn't really want Wit's End. Wit's End would be crap if they're very AD heavy instead of magic damage heavy. So instead, at that point, you go for Dead Man's or maybe a Titanic. Dead Man's has a bit of on-hit damage on it, and Titanic has quite a bit of on-hit damage. I don't know why it doesn't have Wit's End as a recommended item on Rammus. It seems like a missed opportunity. It's definitely good on him versus AP comps, just not as a first item rush. Let's turn it to open. I feel like they should have one more tab of... They either need to make popular more extensive, or they should have another tab of like popular part 2 or something. Because obviously Rammus isn't going to be building this AP crap, but a lot of Rammuses would be building Wit's End just to make the item easier to find. Problem with AP Rammus is there's so many fantastic melee burst champions, AP burst champs like an Echo or a Fizz that can do so much more than Rammus, and they have better AP scalings. So it's like, why are you even playing him AP at that point? There's just no point. Yeah, almost got that kill. Kind of close. Oh, he's got someone underneath turret with him. We gotta pull out. Our CS score is actually pretty high. Nearly 130, 19 on Rammus. That's pretty solid. Was that around 7 or 8 CS per minute? 80, 160. Yeah, it's not 8 at all. Never mind. That's closer to 6 or 7. I take it back. Our CS is just decent. Yeah, that's some high Malphite damage right there if I've ever seen it. Psych. Malphite did just get buffed as well. His pass is on a lower cooldown, and I think his W is too. Later, Heimer Dingleberry. Oh, it didn't let me take it. Nice, because I got the burn on me. Oh, this is bad. Gotta hold this guy still. Heimer turret is shrekking me right now. Holy moly. This Aatrox is so fed, man. I don't have a single kill. How dumb. 12 assists Rammus. That's just not right. When you're trying to play some Alpha Chad Rammus, but all you have is assists. The ghost extensions. I still have my ghost on right now. Holy crap. 6 seconds. I got 4 assists there. Maybe 3 or 4. An extra 24 seconds. So that was like a 34-second ghost. I'd say balanced. We can get Sunfire Aegis now. If they surrender 25-minute mark or sooner, we'll do a part 2. They might think they can win because Aatrox does fall off. And they might think that I do, but I don't. On hit Rammus doesn't really fall off unless they have good counter stuff like Alawi or Janna. You need something that absolutely punishes him in a non-counterplay type of way. Wait, we actually can't afford this. Having to sell my refill and control word for it. And they quit. Alright guys, we'll go ahead and do a part 2. I will see you there. Yo, what's going on guys? Welcome to part 2 of Rammus on hit. Alpha chat in the jungle. We're up against a Nidalee. Should be a lot of fun. She definitely dominates us early. With that being said, Rammus doesn't really beat any jungler early. Since we have double armor this game, our W alone should kill the small raptors. We had double magic resist last game, so it was actually kind of awkward finishing off the raptor camp with double magic resist, but I still think it was worth it since their team was so AP heavy. Auto attack into the EW. Once again, your E does have more range than your autos, as you can see, so it's pretty much always auto then E. And even after, against monsters, when you E... Wait, what am I trying to say here? Oh yeah, you can usually like E auto then W since your W extends your E duration. Basically, you're giving yourself the extra second and a quarter extra attack speed by delaying the W for as long as you can. So for here, if I like auto then... If I E auto then W, I can kind of extend my attack speed duration. Because, I mean, it is 20%. It's pretty useful. I said we were going to path top, and Camille proceeds to push immediately. Ooh, kind of annoying. So Rammus is such a red buff, like 3 can't clear style jungler. You really want to be able to have that closest lane to be able to butter up, as you can imagine. Nidalee has red smite. She has dark harvest. Camille's screwing her over there pretty hard. Auto attack into the E. We have a lot of armor and magic resist, so for Nidalee to try to finish us is actually like really hard for her to do. Yeah, she's kind of screwed. I can go top. I think Mundo already blew his flash. I don't mind taking a first blood though. Rammus actually plays really well with gold. Any mobile champion plays well with gold, and Rammus falls into that category. I'm gonna have to keep playing topside now because Mundo has no flash, and whoa, what is Sion doing? It's actually, oh, that was bizarre. Maybe he was looking to kill me, or that was weird. I can't imagine what his thought process was there. He's almost dead. I don't even know if he had mana. That was absolutely bizarre. Nidalee would probably want to go for my red buff at this point. So yeah, as you can see, the Rammus base armor, 98 armor and freaking nearly 40 magic resist, level 1. Nidalee, oh, she's trolling, dude. She is so mad. Holy crap. Holy moly. All right, I gotta unmute all. That was insane. I think Nidalee's ticked. I think Nidalee's ticked. She lost blue. And then so she's probably pinging her teammates to rotate, but Mundo was already like almost dead and flashed. But Sion didn't rotate, but I think Sion was low. Since this game is effectively over from this point on, I'm just going to show you guys a few interesting clips from it. Nah!